It's a win for Zalmi. By 1 run in this match. It's a big 6. Karachi have won.
It's a young franchise, but they've done it.
Take it down, Grenadier. What a stab.
Who would be a bowler in T20 cricket? Twice this week, the impossible has become possible as balls disappeared into the Pindi night sky and targets, once deemed unreachable, were chased down with ease. Monday night's madness saw Multan Sultans set a seemingly unsurpassable score of 205. Islamabad United had other ideas.
Fahim Ashraf ends with a half-century not out. 51 from 26 to be precise. What an innings.
So much for the second highest run chase in HBL Pakistan Super League history. 2 nights later, Peshawar Zalmi must have thought they were home and hosed after posting a mighty total of 240.
Riveting Baba Brilliance's first HBL PSL 100.
And Quetta Gladiators proved that a target is just a number.
What a knock from Jason Roy. He's brought Quetta Gladiators back to life.
All of which leaves Zalmi and Sultans still not guaranteed a playoff berth. Whichever bowling unit can rebound better from such a fearful battering will go a long way to determine the outcome of tonight.
Well, it's a virtual qualifier between these two sides. Peshawar Zalmi take on Multan Sultans in match number 27. Will it be Babar Azam's team who is triumphant tonight, or will it be Multan Sultans led by Mohammad Rizwan? He's got the men around him, rallying around him. Tim David, he's been one of the stars for them, for Multan Sultans. Last year, he was spectacular, and this time it's been no different. Ihsanullah, he's been the man for them for every situation. Shan Masood got some runs in the previous game, and they'll be backing him to get some more. Hello and welcome to Pitchside. It's a huge game here in the HPL PSL because it's Multan Sultans and they take on Peshawar Zalmi. Remember, whoever wins today is straight into the playoffs. Multan Sultans, you've got to talk about them because they've lost their last 3 games. They started off so well, but they need to redeem themselves and get back in. And they are up against Babar Azam's Peshawar Zalmi. Now I've been joined by Arooj Mumtaz and Bazat Khan. Arooj, huge game today. Huge game in the context of the HPL PSL, and both the sides have had a mixed tournament so far. You look at Zalmi and Multan Sultans seem to have lost a bit of rhythm coming into this one.
Well, for starters, a huge game, not for 2 but for 3 teams. Remember, Quetta's probably going to be glued to their screens because they're probably hoping for Zalmi to lose both their games, for them to win theirs, because in terms of run rate, they're probably easier to catch up to Zalmi. So, but again, for Multan Sultans, like you said, I think they were very strong at home. Conditions of the surface sort of favored them a lot, but come here in these high-scoring games, they just haven't been able to get over the line, and there have been 3 big losses for them. And when you look at them on paper, they're a very strong side, so they probably want to turn it around because, like you said, it's up for qualification.
Peshawar Zalmi, you know, they scored a lot of runs the other day. Babar Azam was magnificent, but unfortunately, it wasn't in a winning cause.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see a better innings, chasing innings, what Jason Roy did. So if you look back at that game and the way that Babar set it up, the way that he played, it was brilliant. It was awesome. It's whenever Babar bats, you sort of take notice, you look at him, the way that he's batting, he makes it look so easy. It's almost sometimes a disservice to himself. Because he's making it look so easy, we're thinking, why doesn't he go harder, or why doesn't he express himself even further? I would say that if you watch Mark Waugh bat, Mark Waugh made it look so simple, and once he got out, you thought, why has he got out? Or once he didn't score runs, you said, why hasn't he scored runs? Tell you what, it's still a very difficult game. It might look as if Babar is making it look so easy and it's so easy for him, but still the art of making runs is difficult. So sometimes we go out of that zone and think, well, he could have done more, he should do more, because of the fact that aesthetically you look at him and he plays so beautifully.
Well, Peshawar Zalmi had all the reasons to win this one. After you scored 240 in your 20 overs, you'd back your bowling to be able to defend this. But Quetta Gladiators had other ideas. Jason Roy suddenly woke up in this tournament in the HBL PSL, scoring 145 in just 63 balls. Well, we've seen that there's been so many runs that's been scored in the HBL PSL, especially at this venue. When you talk about Rawalpindi, you talk about the centuries being scored. Let's have a look at what we've got in the numbers game today. We're talking about most centuries since 2019. Babar Azam scored that magnificent 115 in that previous game, and he has 8 centuries since 2019 in T20s. You've got to say that that is some stellar record, just above Jos Buttler, who's got 6 in the 108 innings that he's played since 2019. Quick look at the table as well, because remember, that's all that we are playing for, just in terms of where the teams are standing. Lahore Qalandars with a fabulous win yesterday. They are on top of the table with 14 points. Islamabad United on 12. Multan and Peshawar, this is what we are looking at today. Both on 8 points, and whoever wins qualifies for the playoffs. Well, you're talking about Babar Azam, Arooj. I mean, one of the things is that there's been so much talk around his strike rate, his ability to score runs at a particular rate, but nobody can deny the fact that he has been a consistent performer for Pakistan. I mean, the record that we just saw speaks for itself.
Absolutely, the record speaks for itself. The numbers back it up, and he's a class act. He's an absolute class act, and there's absolutely no denying that fact. Let's get that out of the way. The issue becomes when the team doesn't win, when the runs are in the losing cause, when somebody from the opposition can repeat the feat and do it better. And that's where the comparison gets drawn up. If you look at that game, 240 plays 243, he had the slowest strike rate of the players who scored. Apart from Will Smeed, everyone was scoring at 200, 215 plus. His strike rate was 175, and that's where the issue comes in. When someone comes around and does it better, or a couple of people come around and do it better, and then suddenly you become a talking point.
As similar issue on the other side, you've got Shan Masood and Rizwan at the top, and there's similar talk around that. You know, the Shan Masood perhaps needs to improve his strike rate, or even talks around Rizwan. I mean, I need to hear your thoughts on this debate.
Now, I need to know what is enough. If 240 isn't enough, if that's not a good score, then what is? 260, 280. If 280 gets chased down, what are you then looking at? You're always going to have a stage in an innings of 80 or 100 where 10, 15 deliveries or 5, 10 deliveries go to the fence. Now, yes, 240 in terms of the game, it wasn't enough. Roy played probably the best innings he ever could. His ceiling is higher than what Babar can do, but I think it's slightly unfair if you say that 240 is not enough. Now, even if the previous game, look at Multan Sultans, they got over 200, and till the last over they were winning that game. So then to say that maybe you look back at the batting, maybe you should look at the bowling, because nobody looks at the bowling then. You look at the bowling, yes, you're going to get flat pitches. Yes, you're going to get pitches where batters will score runs. That is a given. You want to be a T20, proper T20 star, you look at your bowling and you say, I will make a difference. Lahore Qalandars is terrific bowling. They didn't let you get a sniff because of the fact that if they had to lose, you had Shaheen Shah Afridi to have a bad day, you had Haris Rauf to have a bad day, and you had Rashid Khan to have a bad day. That bowling attack, nobody will talk about the batting because that bowling attack will always save you.
I don't know what Basit is trying to say. He's probably saying bowlers matter more in this tournament than the batters. I think that's the key message here, because Qalandars definitely has the best bowling attack in the tournament. On that note, we'll take a break and we'll be back just in a bit. Well, we're here building up nicely, and it's Peshawar Zalmi taking on Multan Sultans. And don't forget, by the way, today is Breast Cancer Awareness Day, which is why we're all wearing these pink ribbons. It's a great cause and something that everybody should remember. Now, moving on towards the cricket, we're talking about how difficult it is to be bowling in these conditions in Pindi. We've seen that in the last few games. Totals have been chased down, apart from Lahore Qalandars, who bowled really well yesterday. But it's time to find out, where should you be bowling here, really? Over to you, Nick Knight.
Yep, Zainab, thank you very much. Yeah, out in the middle here, I've been searching high and low. I've been with Hawkeye. We've been scouring all the analysis and all the data to try and help the bowlers, really, because it's not been straightforward, has it? It's a wonderful deck of pitches here, and it has, as you rightly say, been very difficult for the bowlers to find the right length. Right, I call it the golden nugget because I'm trying to find out what the perfect line is, what the perfect length is, and what the perfect speed is to try and bowl on these surfaces. Of course, it's going to vary a little bit. Let me just show you what I found, because this is what I found. It's quite similar, actually, for the right-handed bowlers and the left-arm bowlers. If we just run this through, look at the lengths that they're finding here. It's, well, no surprise, perhaps, to those that have followed the game for years and years. It's somewhere around that top of off-stump line. It is just in the good length area, and those numbers on the left and the right are pretty much telling the same story. If your economy rate is down, which it is there, you're doing a damn good job. The batsman's strike rate is down there on both sides, so you're doing an excellent job. And the speed is around about the same there, 135, 136. So in effect, that has surprised me a little bit, actually. Having done the games on this ground, I thought that the golden nugget would be a little bit fuller, and I thought the golden nugget might be a little deeper as well, a little bit shorter in the sense of sort of that in-between length, hitting more here. But actually the golden nugget is right here. Get down. This is where the golden nugget is, right down. Can you get down there? Oh, my back's gone, but it's somewhere down here. That's about the golden nugget. Now, I thought on a pitch like this, I better get off. Match referee's having a look at me. The golden nugget is going to skid on to sort of someone like Tim David, who's just going to go, thank you very much, length is on the up, I can hit it over there. Now, you can't bowl this length every single ball because it's the golden nugget. I love that goal. You can't keep bowling the golden nugget every single ball because then it gets a little bit too predictable. But what you can do is use that particular length just a little bit more than perhaps as what's been used here. I think that will help a little bit more. It has certainly surprised me. I thought it'd be a bit further up and a bit further back, but that's the length you try and find more often. Back to you guys in the studio. What do you think?
I mean, Aruj, you heard what Nick is saying. We're talking about these conditions. Do you agree with his thoughts that that's the length that you should be looking at, not too far ahead and not too far back?
I mean, the numbers backed it up. He's obviously been digging around for these numbers in the control room, and he's got it spot on. It's like he said, the golden nugget. It's just about repeatability, right? And you can't become too predictable with it. That's where the variations and the change of pace come in, which again is so difficult on this surface because the margins of error anyways in a T20 game are slim, and you sort of squeeze them even more slimmer here because of the nature of the surface. And then you got to execute the plan. Again, on what Simon Dool touched on, keep your mind clear, because when you're being hit along the park, you tend to lose where, like Nick said, the golden nugget is.
Well, Baz, do you agree? The golden nugget? Do you agree with the thoughts of Nick Knight that that's where it is, that's where it lies?
Yeah, and it's only a little coin on the pitch, so that's the golden nugget. Now, who can hit the coin? The interesting part about all that was speed was 135, 136. It wasn't above 140. So that length is probably hitting the top of the stumps when you're bowling at that speed. When you go faster, that length becomes easier, which is very interesting. But yeah, I think that is the golden nugget. Also, I think the bowlers haven't bowled wide enough, the spinners especially. Maybe slow it up wide, because whenever they're going quick into the stumps, they're getting pumped.
Just in terms of, what you should be doing today if you win the toss, Arooj. I know it's always a tough one. And we've seen some contrasting results. I mean, you saw Lahore Qalandars bowl so well in the second innings yesterday, but then you've also seen some fantastic chases so far. So it's a bit of a dilemma. Is it choosing it according to your strengths, what you bring to the table?
Yeah, because especially for Lahore Qalandars, they're probably the only side who've experimented. Shadab did in one game in Karachi, but Lahore Qalandars can do so. Why? Because they've got a world-class bowling attack. They back themselves in spite of even slightly dewy conditions to bowl or to defend their score, and hence why Shaheen Shah Afridi chose to bat first the other day as well and got runs on the board, and their bowling did the trick. Apart from that team, I'm pretty sure everybody else will want to bowl. So they'll want to chase, right? So even here today, Peshawar and Multan, I'm pretty sure they'll want to chase.
They'll want to chase Peshawar and Multan. Thank you so much, Baz, for your thoughts. We'll be joined by Simon Duell after this break, and we'll also be ready for the toss and pitch report. Back on the pitch side, we're building up nicely here, but before that, we've got something special on the love of chai for you. Of course, we are in Pakistan, and these films are part of the National Amateur Short Films Festival, which is an initiative to showcase Pakistan's cultural landscape and tourism attractions. Yeah, we certainly love our chai. That's one thing we love in Pakistan. And the other thing we love in Pakistan is a bit of cricket. I've now been joined by Simon Duell on the pitch side studios. Dooley, just on Peshawar Zalmi then, we've spoken a lot about Multan Sultans, but is it a concern for them that they couldn't defend over 240 runs in that last game, or do you think that was just a freak innings from Jason Roy?
Yeah, a little bit of a freak from Jason Roy, but a combination of both. Remember back to the previous game where they defended 173. I think they restricted Islamabad to 173. Sorry, Lahore to 173. So their bowling attack is not a bad one. I don't think it's the best bowling attack in the tournament by any stretch, but there is some experience involved in it, and they just need to be a little bit better. Jason Roy played one of those innings where you just, I mean, we will remember that for a long, long time. And, everything seemed to find the middle. But you've got to remember also they had nothing to lose. And so those innings are possible when you really don't have anything to lose. There was no way that they thought they were ever going to qualify. So you're able to play with that freedom, which makes a difference, which puts the bowlers under pressure.
What does Multan need to do differently today, Arooj, because they've lost their last 3 games?
Well, again, I mean, they lost their last game again. They had 205 on the board and they couldn't defend that. So again, it'll come down to the errors that you're making. You minimize the errors. Be okay with the fact that you are going to go for runs, but again, we've all been speaking about, have that mindset that you still want to come out there and make a difference, be that impact player. I just find that you sort of scan your eyes around when the ball's getting hit to the parks, and you find some players and some bowlers just hiding away and shying away from that. So probably up for the challenge again. Who wins the toss? They'll probably want to chase.
All right, we'll see if they want to chase, because that's what we heard from Arooj Mumtaz. Both the teams will be looking to chase. We'll find out, because we are ready with the toss. It's over to Bazid Khan, who's out there with the 2 captains.
Right, we're ready for the toss here. Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam, world number 2 T20 batsman, world number 3 T20 batsman. Professor Javed Malik, match referee.
Number 1 in one day.
Number 1 in one day.
1 in test, inshallah.
Who's got the coin though.
Number
one has got the coin. Go on then.
Head.
Head is the call. Let's go. Let's go.
क्या करेंगे? तो bowling करेंगे, भूल ना जाऊँ मैं.
Whoa.
बता रहा हूँ.
It is tails. Everything's broken. बाबर टॉस जीत के हैं, क्या करेंगे और क्यों?
सिंपल प्लान भी है, बैटिंग फर्स्ट और कोशिश करेंगे कि जिस तरह हमारा मोमेंटम चल रहा है उसी को कंटिन्यू करें और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा स्कोर करें.
240 कम पड़ गया था.
कह सकते हैं, लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से एज अ बॉलिंग यूनिट आपको थोड़ा सा प्रोएक्टिव रहना पड़ता है, क्योंकि आपने अगर 240 किया तो दूसरी टीम भी आप पे प्रेशर डालेगी और मेरे ख्याल से इतने स्कोर में आपको थोड़ी सी अच्छी बॉलिंग करनी पड़ती है और जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है ग्रैब करनी पड़ती हैं और मेरे ख्याल से इंशाल्लाह इस मैच में कोशिश करेंगे कि ये चीज़ें रिपीट ना हो.
और प्लेऑफ्स के बहुत करीब हैं, अगर एक मैच भी जीतते हैं तो प्लेऑफ्स आपकी तरफ. तो ये मैच ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है या उसी तरह आप खेलेंगे?
ऑफ कोर्स इम्पोर्टेंट मैच है हमारे लिए, क्योंकि हमने क्वालिफाई करना है, उसके लिए हमने ये खेलना है और कोशिश करेंगे कि जीतें अच्छे नोट में, क्योंकि हमारे लिए हर मैच अब इम्पोर्टेंट मैच है और क्योंकि प्ले ऑफ में हम जा रहे हैं और कोशिश करेंगे कि आज के मैच पर फोकस करें.
आपकी टीम में कोई चेंजेस?
एक चेंज है, उस्मान कादिर आया आमिर जमाल की जगह.
थैंक यू वेरी मच एंड गुड लक. रिजवान, थोड़ा सा जब से मुल्तान से बाहर आए जा रहा है वो होम एडवांटेज था, थोड़ी सी परफॉर्मेंस थोड़ी सी कम हुई है आपकी टीम की.
बिल्कुल जी, क्योंकि रिजल्ट ऐसे हैं, तीनों हारे हुए हैं और इसलिए थोड़ा सा लग रहा है. मगर जिस तरह जहां 2 मैचेस हमने कराची और लाहौर में जहां पे लेग किया था, हमने लास्ट मैच में उसमें जो ना हमने काबू कर लिया था, मगर बहरहाल फिनिशिंग टच नहीं हुआ. कोशिश करेंगे कि उसको भी कवर किया जाए इंशाल्लाह.
और पिच के बारे में, कंडीशंस के बारे में बताएं. कोई स्कोर सेफ नहीं है इधर?
बिल्कुल कोई स्कोर सेफ नहीं है, मगर मेरे ख्याल से अगर अच्छी क्रिकेट खेले, प्लानिंग के साथ टेक्निकली चीज़ों को किया जाए तो मेरे ख्याल से कुछ ना कुछ है, क्योंकि 240 सेव भी हो रहा है, 107 पे टीम भी आउट हो रही है. मेरे ख्याल जो अच्छी क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं उसी के पास रिजल्ट जा रहे हैं.
चेसिंग में कुछ फ़ायदा है या नहीं?
मेरा ख्याल, देखिए मैं अभी पहले भी कहा है कि लग तो जाता है कि यार चेज हो रहा है, मगर जो अच्छी क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं अगर प्लानिंग के साथ वो करेंगे, अगर कोई टीम चेज प्लानिंग के साथ भी करेगी तो चेज हो जाता है, मगर बॉलिंग में अगर चेज प्लानिंग के साथ करेंगे तो मुश्किल है.
आपकी टीम में कोई चेंजेस?
जी चेंजेस हैं, खुशदिल खेल रहा है, कॉटरल खेल रहा है.
थैंक यू वेरी मच एंड गुड लक. So the news out here from the centre is that Peshawar have won the toss and are batting first. Babar believes that they should carry on the way things are. Rizwan says it's a very good pitch. They just have to play better. Now it's a very good pitch, and to tell us more and explain how good it is, it's Darren Ganga.
Thank you very much, Bazid. Well, we've spoken about this pitch ad nauseum. It's very good for batting. Bat dominates ball, and once more, it looks very flat, bereft of grass. It looks like it's a belter. Of course, the square boundary is only 62 meters, so teams, they find it very difficult to defend here. Zalmi, however, they've won 2 matches at this venue, batting first. That's why we've opted to bat first again. Now, because of such good batting conditions, the focus will be on the bowlers. Now, I have 3 lengths I want to highlight. First, it's short of a good length. That is a length where you push in the batter onto the back foot. That's a length that you want to take into consideration as a fast bowler, even as a spinner. And then you have that good length band. You heard from Nick Knight speaking about the optimal length to have good economy, to have good wicket taking opportunities. So if you stay in that good length area, you will also get rewards as a bowler. The last and final length that I want to mention, it's the Yorker length. We haven't seen many bowlers use that to good effect. They've often gone for good length delivery and they've gone for that short of a length delivery. So you got to think about a cluster of 6 balls. How are you going to share those 3 lengths across 6 deliveries? You need to fire in at least 2 Yorkers. Get it right. That's a good starting point. You use the good length delivery, get a couple in there, and also keep the batter guessing. If you're a fast bowler, try to extract as much swing as possible with that new ball. And if you're taking pace off the ball, don't just bowl a slower ball. Try to use your fingers to get a cut off the surface or even use the cross seam delivery. For the spinners, you still need to have that attacking mindset. Try to get wickets because it's a matter of risk and reward. If you get a wicket, going for runs, you're still putting your team in a commanding position. But you got to work that spectrum. Short of a good length, the Yorker length, use your pace variations, and try to spin the ball. Those are the options for the bowlers. You've got to weigh also the strength and weaknesses of the opposition batters. If you bear those things in mind and take those things into consideration, you might dominate with the ball. Again, it's a very important match because whichever team wins tonight, of course, is going to secure a spot in the playoffs.
Just a reminder on the pink caps that we've seen today, the breast cancer awareness, great gesture by the captains as well. But the news from the centre is that the B Network toss has now been won by Babar Azam and he is elected to bat first. Interesting decision, Aruj, because you were saying that teams would like to opt to chase, but Babar is backing his bowling today.
Well, they got 240, right? Batting first. So they backed themselves to bat. The surface, again, a very good one. And they've got the firepower to do so. Haris, Saim Ayub with Babar up front. Then Haris, TKC, Hasibullah, Powell. Again, they've got all that strength. The one change that they have made is Usman Qadir. Now, off late, he's bowled well. He's got better control of the ball, but that was up in Karachi. With the wickets was supporting him. How that plays out, and along with the quick seamers, will be an interesting story. But I think Mujib and Qadir, if anything, either they'll go for too many or they'll probably be the difference.
What about Multan Sultans? Then Khushtil Shah comes back in, Dooley, and also Sheldon Cottrell.
Ah, the soldier. Good to see the soldier here as well. He's just arrived in the country, straight into the mixer. I like Khushtil Shah. Look, he's an option at the top with the ball as well, maybe to get one over out in the power play. But we need better strike rates from Shan Masood and from Rizwan up the top. If that happens, then it allows the power of Rousseau, Pollard and Tim David and even Khushtil Shah to really shine. It's going to be all about the bowling first up, though. They have to try and restrict the Zalmi side. Anything under 200, I think, is a great result.
Well, anything under 200, Simon Dewell says, is going to be a great result. A couple of changes from both sides just to add a bit of strength to that bowling, especially in these conditions. We're building up nicely. It's going to be a riveting contest. We'll talk more in detail only after the short break. Quick reminder then that Peshawar Zalmi has won the toss and they have elected to bat first. Now, one of the things that we've seen in the HPL PSL are the new stars for the future. That is what it's all about. In the HPL PSL, some of the younger stars like Saim Ayub, Ihsanullah is also somebody who's made headlines. But there's another guy in the Peshawar Zalmi camp who has got everyone talking. I'm talking about none other than Hasibullah Khan.
मैंने अपने वालिद साहब और चचा को देखकर क्रिकेट स्टार्ट किया है, जैसे कि वो ख़ुद फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेटर थे। उन लोगों के साथ ग्राउंड जाता था और उन लोगों के साथ मैं देखता था कि वो लोग करते क्या है वहाँ पे। तो शौक़ था बचपन से और उन लोगों के साथ फील्डिंग करते हुए भी बहुत खुशी होती थी कि फील्डिंग मिल जाए भी तो बहुत अच्छा है। लेकिन जैसे जैसे स्कूल स्टार्ट किया तो स्कूल में स्कूल क्रिकेट वहाँ से स्कूल क्रिकेट स्टार्ट किया और स्कूल में मैं एज अ कैप्टन अपने साइड को लीड करता रहा। और उसके बाद मैंने अंडर 16 के ट्रायल दिए जिसमें मैं बलूचिस्तान की तरफ से खेला और उसमें मैंने अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस दिया। उसके बाद मुझे चांस मिला पाकिस्तान अंडर 16 खेलने के लिए, तो मैंने पाकिस्तान अंडर 16 खेला, वहाँ पे बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया। और उसके बाद मैं अंडर 19 खेला बलूचिस्तान की तरफ से, तो मैंने 3 साल अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया। और पाकिस्तान की तरफ से अंडर 19 एशिया कप और अंडर 19 वर्ल्ड कप खेला और वर्ल्ड कप में जाके अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मेरे 2 सेंचुरियाँ थी वहाँ वर्ल्ड कप में। तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह उसके बाद फर्स्ट क्लास सीज़न गुजरा, बहुत अच्छा गुजरा और लिस्ट में अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह पिछले साल टॉप पे था और इस साल सेकंड हाईएस्ट स्कोर होता मैं। तो मेरे वालिद साहब ख़ुद मुझे अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बॉलिंग कराते, बॉल स्टिक से बॉल कराते, मुझे ट्रेनिंग कराते, तो मैं सारा क्रेडिट अपने फैमिली और वालिद साहब को दूँगा। पॉजिटिव माइंड से जाना है और जहाँ पे भी मौका मिले अपने टीम के लिए पहले, क्योंकि हमें बचपन से यही समझाया जा रहा है कि टीम फर्स्ट है। तो अगर मैं फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल 5 रन भी करूँगा तो अपने टीम के लिए करूँगा और इंशाल्लाह अपने टीम को जितवाऊँगा। जब HBL PSL पहला सीज़न हो रहा था तो शायद मैं अंडर 13 के लिए ट्रायल दे रहा था। तो पिछले साल भी हम फाइनल के लिए गए थे, जो लड़के बुलाए गए थे 100 लड़कों को, तो हमारा बहुत ख्वाब था कि हम भी इन लोगों के साथ खेले, तो अल्लाह पाक का शुक्र है, अल्लाह पाक ने सिलेक्ट करवाया। PSL तो अगर देखा जाए वर्ल्ड के लीग में बहुत फेमस लीग है और बहुत बड़ा लीग है PSL, तो मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि यहाँ पर अच्छे से अच्छा परफॉर्म करूँ और अपने मुल्क को रिप्रेजेंट करूँ, पाकिस्तान को रिप्रेजेंट करूँ, क्योंकि मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा प्लेयर देखे जिसने PSL में परफॉर्म किया और एकदम टीम में आया, तो मैं भी कोशिश करूँगा कि अच्छा परफॉर्म करूँ और पाकिस्तान को रिप्रेजेंट करूँ।
There's something so special about all the young talent that's coming through in the HPL PSL, Arooj. I mean, that is what the HPL PSL is all about. And you talk about the likes of Saim Ayub, Hasibullah, Ihsanullah. It's always been about these young stars. But these batters in particular, if you include Mohammad Haris in it, they don't have any issues with the strike rate. They've been striking it well.
Well, I think for once the season has been good for Pakistani batters. The PSL has all been spoken very highly about the quality of bowling we produce, the quality of quick bowling we produce. It's always been the internationals who've come and scored with the bat. But this time round, really happy, and especially Peshawar Zalmi. They stuck with 3 youngsters in that top 4, top 5, Saim Ayub, Haris and Hasibullah, and it's been paying off. So absolutely brilliant for Pakistan and cricket in its entirety.
What have you liked about them so far, Dooley, so far?
I think the courage. What I love about young batters is the courage, and particularly in this format of the game, that's what you need. First and foremost is courage. Saim Ayub, he's not afraid to play his shots. And what you must have in all these, these tournaments around the world, in 2020 in particular, is not afraid to get out. And I think he has that in particular. There's a couple of others around that will be on their way, but I think, Saim Ayub and Ihsanullah are 2 that will play for Pakistan in the next 12 to 14 months for me. They're both very, very exciting cricketers. I've always thought the fast bowling was brilliant in the tournament. I'm really pleased to see there are some quality young batters coming through as well, and he's probably the most impressive.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, both of you. It has been the standout in the HPL PSL. The crowd is building up nicely. Peshawar Zalmi is batting first, and after the break, we'll have the first innings, so don't go too far.